guys, thanks so much for checking us out again. This is Shannon with Mind Your Business with Shannon, where we discuss everything business, what you need to do to be successful, to be prosperous, but also at the same time making sure that your family life is not going apart at the same time. All right? Okay. Happy New Year to everybody. Haven't really seen you guys since the beginning of the year. So we kind of want to, start off with what kind of businesses do you guys want to start this year? Okay, that's one of the main focuses and one of the main missions and visions that I have for even starting this YouTube channel in the first place, to help you get some businesses started and to show you how you can maintain those businesses, right? Right? Okay. Well, we're going to start talking about some nonprofits, okay? Now, people kind of shy away from wanting to start a nonprofit organization. And I'm here to tell you, you don't have to shy away from it. I hear so many people say, oh, I don't want to start a nonprofit organization because I don't want the IRS and the government to know what it is that I'm doing. And that is the farthest thing from the truth, okay? Don't look at it like that. If you are doing what you're supposed to be doing, the IRS can come knocking at your door all it wants to, and you shouldn't be disturbed by it, okay? So we're not going to use that as an excuse, all right? The first thing that you have to do is to come up with a name, and the name of your nonprofit should try to at least give the public an idea of what your nonprofit is doing. Okay, it has to at least be able to, because one thing you got to understand is that when you are a nonprofit organization, you're kind of dependent upon the public to help you as far as funding and getting everything that you need for that nonprofit to run successfully. Okay, so you have to appeal to the public, because you're going to be requesting contributions, you're going to be requesting donations from them. So make sure that it's a catchy enough name that anybody that sees it will know, or at least have an idea of what it is that you're trying to do. Okay? So, incorporate with your state. You need articles of incorporation. All right? I'm also a notary for the state of Louisiana, so I kind of know some of those nuances of what needs to be inside of an article of incorporation to protect you. All right? Because remember, we want to make sure that our companies are separate entities from ourselves. And for the purpose of logistics, we are considered an entity. Okay? So you want it to be different. All right? Next thing, you need a tax ID number. All right? Goes hand in hand with any business that you start, whether it's nonprofit, whether it's for-profit. You need a tax ID number. Point blank period. Okay? Now, just because you have incorporated at the state level does not mean that you're tax exempt. That's a totally different subject altogether. I'm going to say that again. When you incorporate with your state, meaning that you filed the necessary articles of incorporation to become a nonprofit at the state level, that does not automatically mean that you have tax exemption. In order for you to have tax exemption, you have to file Form 1023 in order to get what's called 501c3 tax exempt status. All right? Part of the Internal Revenue Code. Without it, you really can't run your nonprofit effectively. Without the 501c3, you don't qualify for grants. You don't qualify to do better fundraising. And whoever decides that they want to generously contribute to your organization, they can't. You want to know why? Come a little closer and I'll tell you why. Without having that 501c3, anything that they give you, they can't write that off at the end of the year. So we are all looking for ways that we can, lower our tax liability income and different things, and what other types of deductions can I have? Well, anytime that you donate to a 501c3 nonprofit organization, guess what? You can write that off. All right? So then it becomes a win-win for everybody. Okay? Now, here's the problem. The problem is, once you get the 501c3, it's a letter on just regular, standard paper. What happens is you go through all the trouble of getting the 501c3, and then when you get it, it's like, what do I do now? Where do I go now? Okay? When we talk about for-profit organizations, partnerships, regular corporations, LLC, we talk about having multiple streams of income. That's really where your wealth is going to start accumulating, and your wealth is going to start generating itself, is from having multiple streams of income. Well, the same thing applies with the nonprofit. All right? And let's talk about those different streams of income that you should have going on with your nonprofit at all times. The first one is charitable contributions and donations. If your organization is not receiving generous contributions and donations, then what that means to me, what that says to me, is that you're not doing anything with your nonprofit. Okay? You have to have a way of getting the word out to the public that this is what you're doing, this is the reason why you're doing it, why it is so necessary and needed in your community. All right? The second form of income, with these multiple streams that I'm talking about, is going to be your fundraising. Now, and I hope I don't offend anybody by what I'm about to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. We do not want to be standing at the corner, right, with a bucket. We do not want to be standing at a red light with a bucket. We don't want to do fish suppers. At least I don't. So, the 501c3 allows you to do fundraising smarter. That's the whole thing. We want to work smarter and not harder. All right? So the third stream of income that all nonprofits should have are grants. Now, you can write a grant. Doesn't mean that you're going to automatically be funded. I'm going to repeat that again. Writing a grant, submitting a grant, does not mean automatic funding. You have no idea who else you're up against. You have no idea who else actually is applying for that same money that you're applying for. And these foundations that are giving you the money, they already know we've got a set amount that we're giving for this quarter. And then for the next quarter, it's a set amount that we're giving. So if you're applying, you have to automatically assume that maybe sometimes there are thousands of other organizations applying too. And I'm not saying that to try to discourage anybody, because grants are a wonderful thing. I also have a 501c3 nonprofit, and I've gotten grants. So it's not impossible to do. But all I'm saying is I don't want you to put all of your eggs into the grant basket. Okay? Do not get a building, and this is just an example, and you know that you need to pay rent on that building, and you are going to depend on grants to pay that rent. Now, don't get me wrong. Some grants will do that. However, just because you submit a grant does not mean that you're going to be funded. It is very, very competitive. Okay? And as a grant writer myself, I know the amount of work that goes into preparing a proposal, preparing a letter of intent to go along with, your grant. So it's a lot of work. All right? So if you can have all three of those, grants, fundraising strategies, as well as contributions and donations, if you're constantly working that simultaneously, then your organization is going to continually have a flow of income coming in. Okay? You can't just start a nonprofit organization, go through the trouble of doing the 501c3, and it is a lot to do a 501c3, just let me tell you. It's a lot. It's a lot that goes into it. It's a lot of paperwork. You have to know what the IRS is requesting, what they need, what they want, and don't give them anything other than what they're asking for. Okay? So, When you actually begin the process of wanting to do a nonprofit, ask yourself, what is it that I want to do for the community? What is it that the community needs? What is going to determine whether or not what I'm doing for my community is actually going to work or not? Okay? Now, I've had some people to ask me this question about wanting to start a nonprofit. Can I make money? I don't want to start a nonprofit because I can't make any money. Well, most hospitals that you've attended are nonprofit organizations. I'm just saying. Okay? So, you can make money. Let me explain to you what the difference is. When you have a regular LLC, for instance, okay, and you have paid all of the bills for that month, if you have employees, or even if you have independent contractors that are doing services, once you've paid everybody, all of the bills are paid. Whatever is left over, whether you do your expenses monthly, weekly, or however you do it, whatever is left over, that's considered your profit margin. So you have the wherewithal to say, okay, I'm going to invest this back into the company, all of the profit, a portion of the profit, percentage of the profit, however you want to do it. Okay? Whatever your standard operating agreement states, how you're going to distribute, the profit. All right, so let's go back over to the nonprofit side. Once you have generated income by having those multiple streams of income that we were just talking about, right? Okay, so you've got this income coming in, right? So now it's like, all right, I've paid all of my independent contractors, I've paid all the bills, the light bills paid, the water bills paid, blah, 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 whatever else your bills are. What's left over is your profit margin, right? Yeah, it is. The difference is it has to stay in the organization. So none of those monies, profits, are to benefit you or benefiting your board of directors. That's the difference. The difference between a for-profit and a non-profit is not that you're not making a profit, but it's what you're doing with the profit that makes the difference. Makes any sense? Okay. Guys, look, feel free to, if you look in the description area below, I've got phone numbers, I've got my email address. Even if you want to leave a comment below, if you have any questions about anything, we are offering a free 30-minute consultation, so that way I can kind of go over with you what it is that you're doing, how you're trying to do it, what you need, what you have in place, what you have to do, what you have to move forward with, okay? Tell y'all a funny story. Just last week, I had someone to contact me wanting to know about getting grants, all right? And before I waste your time, and before I allow you to waste my time, I like to ask questions, okay? So come to find out, just in the midst of asking these questions, this particular foundation, well, I'm not going to say foundation because I don't want to confuse anybody, but this particular nonprofit organization was a nonprofit, all right, but it didn't have its 501c3. And let me tell you how I found that out. I found that out because just in the context of us having the conversation, I was like, okay, well, do you have 501c3? And she, I think I do. Wait, let me, yeah, no, you don't. Let's just be real about it. No, you do not. Because trust me, if you go through the 501c3 process, you are going to know about it. Okay? It ain't going to be no, oh, I think I did it. Oh, no. Once you go through this process to get that 501c3 tax exempt designation, you are going to know. So you are going to be able to say, yes, I have it. I'm just saying. Okay? So, without the 501c3, you can't get grants, you can't do better fundraising, and any contributions that anybody want to make to your organization, you can't give them the little letter that they're going to need saying, hey, this is what you gave us on this day, this is how much it was, thank you so much. They use that letter and use that as a tax write-off. Okay? So, Starting a nonprofit organization is not as daunting as I guess what I'm making it to appear to be. I just want to stress to you the importance of making sure that a lot of this background stuff is done so that you can effectively run your organization, to effectively run your program. All right? So, I did not want to make this lengthy. I just kind of wanted to get on here just to let you know that in the process of getting these businesses started, let's not forget about nonprofits, okay? We need nonprofit organizations out there. Whether you're out there to help women who are trying to get out of domestic violence situations, whether you're trying to decrease the amount of teen pregnancies that are, that may be plaguing your community, whether or not you want to reduce recidivism, whether or not you want to reduce, juvenile delinquency, whether or not you want to be able to help these kids who are getting out of the foster care system who have no earthly idea of what to do next. So these are just some of the things that I want you all to think about. If you have any questions about anything, feel free to leave them in the comment section, or you can just leave a comment, below this YouTube video. And let's see if we can start getting some of these questions answered, and let's see if we can kind of start getting some of these businesses started, okay? Once again, this is Shannon with Mind Your Business, and make sure that you do, because if you don't, no one else will. So you guys, think about those nonprofit organizations. Think about what your community needs, what it is that you can do for your community. And again, if you have any questions, I'm here, okay? There are multiple ways that you can contact me if you have any questions. But do not forget to subscribe, comment, share this video with anyone you think may need the information, and don't forget to hit that little bell so you'll be notified whenever we upload a new video. So I'm your girl Shannon, so you guys be good, and I'll see you next time. Bye.